Hi, my name is Wileen Benson, and I get to be the one to introduce our weekly Wise tonight. I wanted to thank Matt and Bonnie Parks for letting us use their home for weekly Wise tonight. And weekly Wise is just an opportunity for us to have local people around the area come and share what they're excited about, who they are, and be able to share that with other people and hopefully give some inspiration. We have a really awesome speaker with us tonight. It's Dani Dixon, and those of you who are on Facebook got to read a little bit about her. Dani's only 16 years old, and she is already mentoring people, and she has a message that is just as inspirational for adults as it is for young adults. She's had some really awesome accomplishments in her life already. She was a student body president in elementary school. She has formed an improv group, and what was something else? There was one other thing I wanted to share with everybody. The improv group, student body president. Well, maybe it'll come back to me. But I just want to share. I have some personal experience with Dani also, and I've just really always seen her as a young woman who is confident and very genuine. Every time I see her, she has this very open and welcoming smile, always a hug for me, and gosh, Dani, just a really awesome young lady. And so I'm just really excited to be able to introduce her to you tonight, and I know that you'll be able to feel her spirit as she shares her message. And give it up for Dani Dixon.
Okay, so like Marlene said, I am 16 years old. And with being 16 come a lot of things. There's driving, which I don't do as much as my parents would like. There's also dating, which I don't do as much as I'd like. A big thing associated with this time of my life are the high school years. And over the years, I've heard many stories on the like, and it seems like most people either really enjoy their high school experience or really hate it. If I was going to spend 4 years of my life in the same place, I wanted to make sure that that time was a positive experience. And I did the most of it. So that's when I decided that as I was preparing myself with clothes, notebooks, pencils, I was going to prepare myself mentally with the right mindset. So I started researching and thinking, and I found something in one of my favorite children's books. It's entitled You Are Special by Max Lucado. And it helped me come up with my drama-free philosophy, which is still a work in progress, and I'm not perfect when it comes to following it, but I'd like to share it with you guys today. The Wemmicks were small wooden people, all hand-carved by the carpenter Eli. They came in all shapes and sizes, they varied in talent and trade, but one thing that brought them all together was the constant bestowing of stickers. Each Wemmick had a box of Golden Star stickers and a box of Gray Dot stickers. Every day, they would give the star stickers to the pretty ones, the ones with the smooth wood and the nice paint, whereas the dots were given to those who weren't so fair and were clumsy. How many stars and dots Wemmick wore determined their worth. Punchinello was covered in dots. He would slip and fall, foot was all scratched, he'd say silly things and stutter. Other Wemmicks would say, he deserves lots of stars, and he's not a good wooden person. Punchinello believed them. Then, one day, an unusual Wemmick walked into town, Lucia, one without a single dot or star. The Wemmicks admired this and tried putting their stars on her, but they didn't stick. This made them look down on her, and they tried putting their dots on her, but those didn't stick either. Punchinello longed for this ability and asked her how she was able to do it. In the end, Punchinello learns that the stickers only stick if you let them matter. The application? The stars and dots are the social game we play defining individual worth by how others perceive us. Don't believe me? How often do we refresh Facebook to see how many likes we got on our last selfie? And we probably know exactly how many people are following us on Twitter. 11. Let's start with the dots. So these are pretty easy to identify. They're the put-downs, the bullying, the gossiping, the judgment. While we might consider them a reference to show where we comparatively stand, they actually serve no constructive purpose. There's your business, my business, and God's business. So what other people say, even if it's about us, is wholly their business. Well, we don't have the power to control what they say. We do have the power to control ourselves and how we respond. So, of course, we should never give someone else a star or ourselves. But sometimes we still do, and the latter is typically more common, even if it's the truth. Even if what we say never gets around to the other person, it's damaging ourselves. Just like the Lemmics, we're building our self-esteem castle out of sand, and that makes it easy for us to fall victim to other stickers. That takes us out of our power. As for putting ourselves down, we're constantly listening to ourselves more than anyone else. So these stickers are more adhesive. Stickers are more adhesive. They're far harder to shed, but they have to go. Lack of confidence is not humility. Replacing a negative thought with a positive turnaround is the way to just move on. We shouldn't be anything but loving towards ourselves. So when others throw hurtful words our way, we have two options. We can mull over and over it to the point where we become attached to that thought, or two, we find it interesting and move on. Granted, this is easier said than done, especially when these thoughts come from people whose opinion matters to us. But words only matter if you believe they matter. So, at the end of the day, we're all just people. We're born, we live, and we die. When we keep this perspective in mind, we can look at people as they really are. People, humans, just like us, with strengths and faults. With this mindset, we can find their comments almost amusing. Mm-hmm. So that's the sticks and stones stuff. But we still have this internal struggle with words. Why? I've come to find that the reason this struggle still exists is because we don't often address the aspect of stars. You can't be rid of one and still hold on to the other. This is my opinion of you.
Thank you.
You don't like the dog? Here. This is my opinion of you.
Oh.
Dog's still there. They're two sides of the same coin. See, we are still dependent on how other people label us when we give power to compliments. Esther Asban goes into this in depth in her book, The Myth of Self-Esteem. So, when I give someone a compliment, I am still judging them. I am comparing and evaluating something about them, and basically saying what I think is what matters. I'm declaring myself the judge of what's good or bad, pretty or ugly, smart or dumb, interesting or dull. It's all about me, and it's wrong. I have no right to be ranking them. Instead, it's better to just express gratitude. When we are giving someone a sincere compliment that we think they really deserve to hear, what we usually mean is, thank you. Instead of, that was a really cool idea, it's, thank you for sharing that idea. Thank you for being you. I think we can all agree that we like receiving stars. They feel good, or so it may seem at the time. It can actually trigger anxiety. My love language is words of affirmation, so it was hard for me to let go of stars. It is super easy to become obsessed with the compliments we receive. If someone harmlessly tells us that we look good one day, we might take that and become so concerned about how we look in the future, about receiving compliments on how we look in the future. The way to be drama-free is to not be dependent on what other people say, right? So there are a few things I did to move on from stars to a more self-sufficient fuel. By fuel, I mean that words energize and motivate me to have the power to do more awesome things. So in the past, when I started to feel kind of low on fuel, I started fishing for compliments. I had the belief that I needed them, and I had the expectation that others should fulfill that need. That is dependence. So now I give myself compliments in the form of positive affirmations. My sister thinks I'm absolutely ridiculous, telling myself, I look good today, or flat out, I'm awesome. But it was fun to allow myself to love myself, and at the same time, I was losing my star addiction. I had a lot of chances during the school year to make these star blocking decisions as well. Sometimes it meant going against tradition. For example, every year I had always bought a yearbook, and when I got old enough, I started buying them with my own money. They're really fun, and a lot of thought goes into their production, but I hardly looked through the pictures more than once. Nope, I went straight to the signatures page. Got my best friends to sign it, the guy that I liked, my competition, and strangers sign it, just so I could obsess all summer over every single word, each exclamation mark in every smiley face. It was exhausting. So, $30 every year, so I could have the excuse to evaluate what my teachers and peers thought of me. So I didn't buy one last year. When others asked me to sign theirs, I shared a memory or told them something I appreciated about them instead of writing hags that they'd have to analyze. And the crazy part is, I didn't feel like I was missing out at all. I had just broken a 10-year habit, and I felt nothing but freedom from worrying about how I stood with others. We attract who we are meant to when we are being real. When I made the decision to live free of stars and dots, I found that some people literally stopped talking to me, whereas there were others who I'd hardly talked to before became some of my closest friends. People who were helping me reach my goals and I theirs. We can do so much more if we aren't wasting time and energy worrying about how we compare with others. Having our lives revolve around drama is a selfish and unfulfilling way to live. We're all different, yet equal, and we can choose to see each other that way. After all, we limits cannot really assign each other value because each individual is invaluable. Thank you.
Great job, Dani. Thank you. Give her another big round of applause. Wow, I'm going to definitely listen to that one over again because there were some huge ahas in that. There's a lot of thought in that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I am excited now to be able to introduce our second speaker, who is going to tell us a little bit. I'm actually going to let him introduce what he's going to share. Matt Parks, and as I mentioned before, this is his house, and he and his brother-in-law Ryan got together and created this Weekly Wise, and so I'm excited to be able to hear what he's going to share. So give it up for Matt Parks.
Dani, where'd you go? There you are. Hey, where'd you go? Thank you. That was excellent. Very well done. And, well, I guess you don't need to start, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, I love that.
I did too. I really appreciate that. Thank you. That was fantastic. I am going to just give a brief discussion about a little bit about the mindset that we were all able to observe in Dani. I personally don't believe that kind of mindset and that kind of choice just comes. You know, just like, at least I was not born with that. I'm gonna guess that you don't feel like you were born with that. You talked about the research and this, study that you put into it. And I know a little bit about what your parents have put into it in their own development and mindset training. It doesn't just happen. We're not just born with these, we are born with beautiful minds. We're not born with well-trained minds to recognize the stories that we have and that we carry around with us, and how much we put weight into what other people think, or, you know, we're not just naturally free from the natural men and women that we are. And so to obtain that, to become, I guess the word I'm looking for is unconditional. To reach a state where we truly feel unconditional of what others, how others view us, as Dani talked about, or even how we view ourselves to a degree, but that we are going to show up as our authentic, genuine selves, no matter the situation. That's being unconditional. And that is a life that is very free, is not bound by the limits that we perceive others to have upon us. They're really just ourselves putting them upon us from our perceptions of what others might or might not be trying to put upon us. It's such a weird net that we get ourselves into. So this kind of mindset comes from the help of mentors, people who can see our blind spots, people that are willing to love us enough to tell us what our blind spots are, and being willing in our own hearts to accept that and to not take offense, but to say, hey, I can become a better person in this way. In this vein, we are a part of a mentoring network, a network of mentors, people who are helping us see our blind spots in the various areas of life. It could be our relationships, it could be our mindset, it could be parenting, you name it. It could be our financial management, all aspects of our lives. We can use mentors to help us get further ahead, get from where we are to where we want to be. And I'm thrilled that today we just were able to release our new app. Very excited about it, and it's a free app. It is by invitation only. So if I could encourage you, if you have an Android or an iPhone device, if you have Windows, I'm sorry, another phone. Sorry, that's me. I'm not a Microsoft person at all. But if you have an iPhone or an Android phone, go ahead and get it out. Open to your store, whether it's the Play Store. You can do this right now on your device. I'll actually grab mine. And go to your Play Store. I know that's the Google one. The iPhone is the Apple Store, right? I'm not much of an Apple guy either, but and search for Strong Brook. Strong, like muscles. Brook, like the stream. No E at the end. And if you do that, you'll find an app that has, I can show it to you.
I don't see a search.
This icon on it. So if you can ignore the background. For those online, see if I can, I don't know if you can see that all with the brightness of it, but you see a little icon there? That's the Strongbrook app. So if you find that app, you can go ahead and download it, install it. This is by invitation only though, so when you, after installing it, you will need a code to be able to, an invitation code to be able to activate it. If you were invited by the Dixons to this, they shared with me their invite code. It will be 42818. That's their invite code. So if you're downloading this right now, write it down real quick if you need to, if it's still downloading. 42818 is the code to get it. For that. If you are invited from us, the parks, your code is 21608. That's your invitation code to be able to use this app, 21608. So I'm excited about this app, but the question is, okay, I'm downloading an app. What is this thing? This is mentorship for free every single day. If you can imagine people who are trainers, people who are mentors that have the success in areas of their life that they're willing to share with you, that you can access this for free, can you see that there could be value to that? Because I believe that the quality of our lives largely is dependent upon the quality of our questions. And mentors can help us learn to ask better questions. They give us that information. They give us greater knowledge. They give us greater perspective. Your life cannot improve in any area without you making different decisions. And it is very difficult to make different decisions with the same information. You need new information to make new decisions. You need new perspective to make those decisions make sense. Otherwise, you're right where you are. This implies change. It implies changing who we are, changing our lives. I remember if you can remember back to college days, you may, like me, have had great roommates that you loved and enjoyed being with, and you may have had one or two that you didn't enjoy as much, their company. And I had one roommate that somehow our personalities clashed a lot, and we just didn't get along. And I overheard him one time on the phone. He was talking with, I think it was a sister or someone, and he said, he just doesn't understand that this is the way I am. This is who I am. This is how I am. And I know I had heard myself say that same thing before, but you know, it's easier to see something in someone else that's a flaw than in yourself, right? And this threw up a red flag for me and said, if I'm telling myself this is who I am, then I'm saying I can't change, I don't change, I will never be a better person, I will never get better results in my life, I'm done. Frankly, I'm damned. That's what I'm saying to this. That's what I heard him say about himself. And it changed my perspective of how I was interacting with him. Because it helped me see a little bit that the problem wasn't him, the problem was me. Yes, he had his problems too, but my problem was me. He was a mentor to me in that moment. He didn't know it. I don't know that he does to this day. But he was a mentor to me in that moment. Imagine people that are going to help you not have to make all the mistakes for yourself. That are going to help you learn, help you point out your blind spots, take off the time of your progress. Let you run in your learning and changing who you are and the results that you want to see in your life. This is the potential that this offers. It's just an introduction. This is a free app that has so much content on it. And if you love this content and you're consuming this and you want more, there is a premium subscription that you can upgrade to. It's $99 a month. There's no obligation to upgrade to it. You can consume all day long all the information you want on that free app. But if you recognize that there's something more here, then you can upgrade. There's also events that you will see come up that you can have access to on that app throughout the country. There's a number here in Utah, which is where we're stationed, but it's growing, and there's more events being put on across the country. You can find an event that you want to go to. It'll be meaningful for you. Get some of that training, get some of that mentorship, that new information, so you can make new decisions, which will determine your destiny. So I invite you to do that. Get that app, download it, start using it, try it out, learn. That's my invitation to you tonight. So with that, we're going to go get some ice cream. Could you run and grab it in the fridge right here? Dani, come on up. What flavor? It's the vanilla Toffee Bar Crunch. So, I guess I could explain a little bit. I am a fan of Ben and Jerry's. I may or may not be on first name basis with the folks back in Vermont. Thank you. So we have a bit of Ben and Jerry's out in our freezer. And part of these weekly whys is if you come, you get Ben and Jerry's. And we have enough that you can eat all you can eat while you're here and not feel bad about it. Not in the least. No circles or star stickers. You just eat away and enjoy every bit. So we always like to do, they do technology unboxings. We like to do an ice cream unboxing. So could you grab a spoon too? A shovel if you have.
Shovel?
Yeah. Well, Ben & Jerry's sent us some swag after we did the Free Cone Day.
Yeah.
And it included little Ben & Jerry's shovels. So.
Oh, that looks so good.
For those who are, I know this is cruel, but you just got to know.
Come next time.
Yeah, what you're missing by not being here live. I know some of you are far away, and we learned teleportation. We'll get you some. So, it's good and hard. That's for you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being here. And you bet.
Thank you.
Next week on Weekly Wise, we have a concert pianist coming. His name is Kurt. He was actually our children's baseball coach for T-ball and coach pitch. But he is a phenomenal concert pianist. And he will be here playing this beautiful Steinway that I was blessed to be given from my father. And it's going to be an excellent evening. So next week, here, Tuesdays, 8 o'clock. And again, of course, all the Ben & Jerry's you can eat. So let's go get some ice cream.
Right.